So let me start with a few facts that you probably don't know, but I want you to know that before we start talking about privatization. It's been 25 years since we're independent, but we have rarely seen, unfortunately, transparent and professional privatization in Ukraine, with exception to probably one privatization, which happened almost 11 years ago in 2005, when Ukraine has sold Kryvoroshstyle, which is a steel-making company, for $4.8 billion to Lakshmi Mittal. Today it is ArcelorMittal, which is one of the biggest, largest world companies, and successfully working in Ukraine, achieving good results despite very difficult commodity markets. And this is a very good example of what people can be making, even though they paid a very hefty price. So today, we came to the office. It's not today, we came to the office almost a year ago and have done a big job. And this is the first slide trying to tell you what has been done. And today we're trying to restart the privatization because, as you probably understand, there was no privatization during the last 11 years, right? Basically, no companies has been sold, and today we're approaching this historical moment. And this is not just the Odessa port plant, but many more companies. So to start with, we have come and we, changed the management team and cut the headcount about 40%, so you understand, in this very bureaucratic organization which is in charge of privatization, and we're still not finished. Then we changed a lot of different documents, amongst of them the valuation methodology, which sets the minimum prices and basically talks about prices on a small, big, medium-sized privatization. Legislation, it's another island of a big effort. We've been 18 times to the parliament to actually to go through 5 amendments to privatization law, which we have done successfully this year in February, and that's why we're starting big privatization. And promotion and marketing, this is something that never has been done before, and we're basically launching it to the best international standards. And the EBRD, Francis and his team, and USAID are helping a lot to do that. So, a few things worth mentioning today. So the big deals are happening today only with advisors. So what does it mean? The companies like Odessa Port Plant, which is the leading fertilizer company, all energy privatization, the ports, the large privatization with a revenue over $50 million US dollars will go for sale only with a big strategic advisor, which is independent investment bank or something similar. So we are not offering a minority stake anymore, and we'll be selling only controlling stakes. And for you to understand, the whole privatization before happened in selling minority stakes. That's why we have many nice oligarchs, but very poor budget results. So this will change. Now we have welcomed foreign companies with state interest to participate in privatization. We couldn't done it before because the law was against. And today we welcome some companies, and in chemical privatization we have companies like, for instance, Yara and similar, with a state capital which is over 25%, and they are welcome to participate. The very important point is that in a sale purchase agreement today we have a clause on international arbitrage, and this is super important stuff to have in any contract, which means that your investment or investors' investment is protected. Or there is much more protection than it was before. In today's process of privatization, we will be demanding full disclosure of beneficiaries, who you are as an investor, what you are as an investor. Please show us your passport if it's a private company, if it's a public company. All investors that over 25% should be disclosed. And obviously, we do not welcome investors from aggressor country, which means the Russian investors will not participate. Let's move further. This is a little marketing point. We've gone through 100 best websites on privatization in the world, and over the last 5 months developed our own platform, which I think one of the best in the world. And we created so-called a landing page, which is one-stop shop for everything. And any one of you can enter this page, and we are feeding this with information right now. It will be in many languages, including English one. So everything is becoming more affordable, more informative, and easy to participate. Next is kind of three main principles of privatization, which is transparency of procedures, compliance with national legislation, and risk mitigation. All of the things are important, and we're trying to simplify the process as much as possible. So we don't create any specific terms for investors to participate, which means we're not actually designing privatization for somebody, right? So any investor which qualifies, and the qualifications criteria are very simple, which is, like I said, who is a beneficial owner, where is your headquarters, where are you headquartered, offshore, onshore, where's your origin of your money, either you are in FATF or you are under sanctions and you are accepted to participate. The compliance with national legislation is, again, we've got some Ukrainian stuff, like I said, and this is nothing complicated. And the risk mitigation is that, like never before, we're inviting international advisors who help us to put marketing documents, different vendor due diligence reports, data rooms, IFRS accounts, everything which is needed for a transparent international transaction. So little stop here on the privatization procedure. Many people are asking how it's actually happening. You don't have to take notes this on our website. You can easily access this, so I will go very quickly. Just to give you an understanding, so the big process is actually happening under sort of 12 months period, provided that we have all the components in place. Normally, it's happening, I can tell you, on Odessa port plant, we started preparing basically last July. Today we're in June, and we launched the transaction, basically. So this is how it's happening, and we are working hard to actually streamline and simplify it even further. So this is the plan for 2016 and a bit of 2017. Again, I promise to speak facts. What are we actually doing? What are we selling? So the core of the asset offer is definitely Odessa port plant, which is the leading chemical fertilizer company, sitting and placed in the port, very strategic location. And I can tell you just, this is not in the presentation, but how much we have changed. The previous 5 plants, ammonia fertilizer plants, Ukraine has sold for a total of $32 million. Today we're selling 1 plant for 500 plus. So you understand how much we moved, right? So Odessa port plant is happening actually in July, end of July, and we hope to be successful and close the transaction by end of the summer. Then within basically fall, we're starting to privatize electricity distribution companies. We've got 6 of them. Control stakes are for sale. We're getting ready for this privatization. We are preparing investment forum, which will happen end of this month. I will stop a little bit later on. We're also offering Center Energo, which is the last and the big, actually, one of the largest power generation companies. It's a big one. It's about 10% of capacity in Ukraine. We're working hard to prepare, and I think we will be ready to sell it in the first quarter 2017. We're also trying to sell a couple of CHPs, which are old-fashioned combined heat power station. These are old assets which we're trying to put into private hands for investors to actually modernize and put something new in place. Little stop on Odessa port plant. This is how the process looked like. So, as I said, we have selected UBS Investment Bank to work for us as a lead advisor. Then we've got local advisors, SARS to UBS, and then Ernst & Young, who worked almost a year producing IFRS accounts and working hard on a data room and vendor due diligence reports. And we've got Baker McKenzie working on the legal side, providing the important assistance, because we've got many legal issues, historical legal issues on the process. And again, USAID, BRD are helping on this process. Thank you very much for your help. So just to continue on privatization, so we're already in the process. June 13th, we have announced And July 26, we're having a real auction, and people ask me how it's going to look like, and it is going to look like in 2005 in an open room, kind of live televised auction with investors and journalists in one place, and one hammerman basically screaming, the steps, right, into the crowd, and people raising their hands. So this is how it will take place, and there's a couple of things which are going on today. Again, we're doing something that is unprecedented in Ukraine privatization. We are attaching a personal manager to each investor, which will help navigate everything which has to be done. We have developed very detailed and sort of instructions for people who want to take place. So this is a first start, because it's very important to test the machine and then to work smooth in September, October, November on electricity, because we will have much more auctions ahead of us. So due diligence and the anti-monopoly committee, so we are preparing a set of documents which should be submitted by any investors who would like to acquire big assets. So these are normal legal things. So on power distribution companies, like I said, we've got Deloitte working already for us, and we're in the process of selecting big investment bank for these big transactions, and we hope to raise minimum $300 million out of that sale. And this is going to happen in the second half of this year. So this is very quick timetable of the power distribution company sale. You can see that we start in September, and we hope to finish in December, and in January we hope to collect the last privatization proceeds. I can tell you today that we are still preparing, but we already have Ukrainian, of course, interest, and we started to receive interest from abroad, Indian companies, Austrian companies, Hungarian companies, and we hope to see Canadian companies in that run, privatization run. A few words on Centroenergo, because there were questions before, what are we going to do? We've got advisors, preliminary advisors start working on that, and we are working on a feasibility study today to better understand the company, financials, operations, and understand how we're going to sell this company. Are we selling it as a one company, or are we selling it as a three company? Because the company consists of the three power stations, basically one located in Kyiv, another in Kharkiv, and another next to Donetsk, which is kind of a little bit scary to international investors because of the war that we have in the east. So Ukrainian Energy Conference, we're working hard to actually launch this conference. The interest is big, and I welcome you to participate in that conference. This is specifically to shed the light on electricity and energy privatization. We will have top-notch speakers, including the Prime Minister and all the ministries. I hope that we will be able to announce regulation reform on electricity, and especially on a RAB tariff, which is very important for privatization of power distribution companies. And we will have Q&A sessions, because we have invited CEOs of the respective companies, and it will be a brutally, heavily difficult discussion, I'm sure. But we would like to show the openness and our readiness to actually do transparent privatization and discuss all sorts of issues that are arising today. Last page is actually, these are the steps on a privatization. Again, very simple: application process, participation in auction, agreement in payment. So everything is very simple. Today, investor comes in, raise their hands that they want to participate. We give them a manager, we give them instruction what to do, what documents to submit. They are submitting documents, they go through qualification procedure, then they receive access to the asset, to the information, to the management. We will be running management presentation, like it's a normal Western approach, right? Q&A sessions, and then there will be split for technical people, legal people, commercial people, kind of doing their own due diligence. Then people go home, kind of sit down with their respective shareholders or boards, decide whether they want to participate. If they want to participate, they have to come back, put the 5% in the National Bank of Ukraine as a guarantee, cash guarantee, which is 5% out of the starting price, and then they are welcome to participate in an auction. Who wins the auction? 7 days, you have to sign the SPA, And from the signing, you've got 30 days plus minus to close the transaction. So everything is very simple and straightforward. So I welcome you to Ukrainian privatization. I hope that real actions will lead to real results this time. And I'm open for your questions. I will be here today and tomorrow. So welcome to Ukraine. Thank you.